Hello again, and welcome to our very first education hour hosted by Survey Analytics. My name is Esther Lavielle, and I'm the VP of Client Services. And on today's agenda, we'll go over what the education hour is, present some faster survey programming tips, and open up the floor to any Q&A from the audience. If you have any questions or comments, please use the chat box or the question box on the bottom right side of the GoToMeeting control panel. So exactly what is the education hour? It is a 1-hour monthly education session that's open to all of our clients. It's based on customer-driven feedback. You tell us what you want to learn each month. You may have gotten a survey about a month ago with some questions about products and services that we have at Survey Analytics that you'd like to learn more. And the goal of the education hour is to offer a unique training session on a variety of topics and products and services, offered by Survey Analytics. And based off of some of the feedback that we've gotten so far, some of the training planned for 2013 include topics such as, how to turn your survey into an interactive survey, how to recruit people into your panel, field projects made easy with Survey Pocket, how to run mobile survey projects, and a very popular one that we got feedback on was how to run a research project using multiple deployment strategies. So if you're using Pocket, the panel tool, online, and mobile, how to pull that all together and manage that properly. And we're going to be going down all of these things, and we're also going to keep asking people for some feedback as we go along. And so the topics will change throughout the year, and we hope that you get a lot of good information and training pieces from this that you can use right away in your research projects that you run on Survey Analytics. So today's topic is a very simple topic. We're going to be talking about survey programming tips. These are shortcuts and items that we feel are really important to helping you save time programming your surveys. Clients who we've shared these tips with and use that throughout the survey programming process do save about an average of 20 to 30% of their time. They're able to catch programming mistakes prior to deployment, and they also have higher response rates. These tips, they come from the account management team that work directly with clients, as well as our support team who have learned these tips on the job and want to pass them on to our clients. This PowerPoint and recording session will be available and emailed to all of our attendees, and also be available on our blog after the session. So let's go ahead and get started. I thought it would be really fun to put my favorite TV show as a great example to show you all these tips and tools today. So let's help Pawnee, Indiana's Parks and Recreation Department survey its citizens for a new park that they want to build at Lot 48. Some questions that they're looking to ask is, how many swings, slides, and drinking fountains should they have on the park? What hours should the dog park be open to the public? Should there be a concession stand ran by Sweden's Candy Company at the park? How comfortable should our park benches be? These are very important questions that they want to ask their citizens. And let's go ahead and help them with some tips and things that can really give them some insight from their citizens. So tip number 1, it's a very easy one. Set your time zone under your account settings. Timestamp, to all your responses will be in your time zone. And here is a fun picture. If you recently saw an episode of season 3 of Parks and Recs, you know that Leslie and Ben had a long distance relationship. And in her office, she had 2 clocks, one for Washington, D.C., where Ben was, and one for Pawnee, where Leslie was. It turns out that the 2 clocks were not needed because she was in the same time zone. So let's go ahead and help Leslie update that time zone. So the very first thing that you'll need to do when you or Leslie logs in is to click on your email on the top right-hand corner. And then go ahead and go in and edit your user details to change it to the exact time zone. This area you can also update your logo, you can add your website address, all sorts of different things. And once you've completed that, go ahead and click Update User Profile, save, and then you're done. And what this will do is will give you real time in your time zone, so you know exactly when citizens have gone in and taken your survey and given you feedback. And it'll help Leslie figure out, you know, people like taking surveys in the afternoon, or they like to take surveys at 2 in the morning, so she's going to deploy her surveys when she can reach her audience the best. So our second tip here is to use the ad hoc query tool from the reports to data mine or search for topics. Have you ever had a hard time remembering a survey with a particular subject mentioned? This tool is really great, where you can find it with the ad hoc query tool. It allows you to search your survey database for arbitrary criteria, and then you can also search to find all responses that have a particular text that you put in. And it also allows for searches on the analytical data, open-ended text, and also in your customized segments. It's a great way and a very easy way to start a new project based on subjects that were surveyed in the past. So for example here, Donna Meagle needs to find a survey she did 2 years ago involving the Happy Hands and Hearts training program to show to Tom Haverford. So what she went in and did was she logged in to her account and she clicked on her reports tab. And then she went underneath data management and went into search. And after she went into the search, she typed in text data and then typed in the search text exactly what she was looking for. And then after that, she did added a search text. So she wanted to look for anything that said Happy Hands and Hearts, search the database, and then after that she was able to download the report based off of any information that was open-ended text or analytical, and she's able to show that to Tom Haverford to help him with a new survey and target people for a follow-up survey after that. So again, this is a great tool, especially for those who need to do some quick searches. So if you have like a particular topic in a survey that you would like to do some follow-up on, but you don't remember because you do a lot of surveys, this is a great way to really target which surveys those are, and then you can go in and download and use that information for some new surveys in the future. Our third tip is to use the question library for commonly repeated questions. It's a great way to save time on frequently used questions in your question library, particularly for demographic questions. If you're going to target particular segments of people, you want to keep those set up in your account, and you just have to drop those into your survey. You know, some survey question topics for Pawnee that they might be interested in using the frequently asked questions or frequent questions from their question library would be community program satisfaction, park services testing, movies in the park, homeless shelter relocation, those kinds of things, and they can reuse those as they go along and create new surveys from old templates that they've created. So Jerry Gergish here, he needs to save some demographics information from an old survey and use it for a project launch of the 311 hotline. And so the very first thing he needs to do here is select the question to the library option and go ahead and copy that in. So you'll need to make sure that you're logged into your survey, click on copy, and then to access your library of copied questions, go ahead and click on library and survey, select next, and then select questions to add to the new survey. So basically there's two things here. So one, you can copy it, and then the next thing, if you'd like to go in and use something from the survey library that you've created, just go in, bypass the standard question types and advanced question types and access your library. And so this will really help you with a bunch of clicks to add in your demographic questions or standard questions you like to always use in a survey. And that's very common in a lot of surveys, that you would have some standard questions that are very consistent in all of your surveys. So go ahead and save those in your library, access them when you need it, and save some time. Tip number 4. working as a team on a similar survey, go ahead and share your question library with others. This is actually a new feature that we added here in 2013. So what you can do is you can share that question library with team members. So it basically will allow you to cut down on the need to share full folders and ensure security of your surveys. And it makes it easier to share specific question templates or questions related to a specific topic. So here we have Chris Traeger and Ben Wyatt who need Leslie enough to share her question library to audit Pawnee Animal Control Department. So the very first thing here you'll need to do is log in, access the question library, which is on the top right-hand corner underneath Search Surveys. Go ahead and click on the question library settings. And then after you do that, you'll just need to select the team members to share the question library with. And so once again, instead of sharing entire folders where they have access to all of the data and all that kind of stuff and you want to secure it, you just need to go ahead and share the question library. This is really helpful for those especially who are working on similar projects or working on different versions of similar projects. So they'll have access to things that you've saved and you'll have access to things that they have saved. And thus saving you time creating a brand new survey. Number 5, use the draft and collaboration mode for QA prior to survey development. Basically, this is a great tool I feel that is underused by a lot of our clients, especially when you're working with a team on a new survey project. This will allow you to share your survey link with internal teams or clients by using the draft collaboration status. With that, they'll be able to offer feedback within the survey template without having to use an email thread to manage the edits in your survey. So for example, if they want to give feedback on how a matrix table looks like and they're not happy with the wording of a question, they can put it directly inside of the draft and collaboration survey, and then based off of their feedback you can go in and make edits and changes, give it back to them, and then have them give you more feedback until it's actually ready for deployment. One very important thing to do is don't forget to change it back to active before deployment, and make sure to check and preview your survey before you do that. You do not want to send your survey to your respondents in draft collaboration mode, or they will give you feedback also that way. So that's very important to do that. It's a very easy thing to do. It's going to be in the front of your folders, of any of your folders. So you just need to select folder, find the survey, and then change it to draft and collaborate. And then go ahead and change it back to active when you're ready for deployment. Tip number 6. Use a preview for specific questions to test components of your survey rather than the entire survey. This will make testing all of your logic easier. It's easier to test the usability of each question if you look at the individual questions instead of the whole entire survey as a whole. And it also targets specific spots that need reworking or editing. It does seem like a no-brainer, but it's a good reminder and a true time saver to help you with editing, especially with some complex logic items that you need to do. And of course, there we have Ron Swanson on the top here, and anything that saves the government time and money always gets 2 thumbs up by him. So here's a quick preview of where you would need to go in and make a preview of your survey. It's going to be available underneath your edit questions, and you click the more tools and it drops down and click the preview. And then here's an example of the previewed question. So you can see here that above there, are you aware of the Happy Hands and Hearts training program? Yes or no? You'll see that it has the banner tables, and this will give you an idea of what your user experience is. And you can go ahead and make changes and updates as needed before you move along to your other questions. Tip number 7. Use global options to make validation, question codes updates, and more to the entire survey. is definitely one of the more underutilized tools that we have among our clients. So we really wanted to bring this to the forefront. It allows you to validate and require specific questions or an entire survey in one place. And it also allows you to add page breaks to entire surveys. You can do a search and replace for words in case you need to redo new surveys with the similar questions. And it also allows you to do quality assurance on your logic and, and also catch errors all in one page. So here we have Ben White, who wants to require all the questions in a survey that he's deploying with Leslie to be answered. Instead of doing it one by one from the edit page, go ahead and log in to your surveys and click Edit Survey and go to your global options. The next thing you'll do is you'll check the questions and select Update Selected Questions. And after that, you'll be able to open up the options to either add a separator for each of the questions. You can add page breaks, you can do validation. And again, this is the area if you need to update your question codes. This is a great place to do that. Tip number 8, if you're looking for multimedia storage that is secure, we have a great option that we've rolled out very recently called the Media Bunker, and it's now available for use. Your Herd with Perd is a popular TV show among Pawneans, and he's looking, or Perd here, is looking to get some feedback from his watchers or his viewers. And Media Bunker will be a great tool to help him out. So the Media Bunker offers a great storage site for testing all media within your surveys. It's secure. You don't need to worry about whether or not people can access it in any way. It's a better alternative to non-secure hosting sites like YouTube or Vimeo. If you are concerned about people taking a survey and you're running a video during the survey, but you don't want the YouTube to make recommended videos afterwards, then Media Bunker can help you with that, and it just strictly looks at the video itself. It's available for both online and offline surveys, and so what that means is that you can run it online for security, and if you want to use Survey Pocket and run video and media offline, it's a great tool to do that, and it's stored and uploaded when you sync up your tablets or iPads to it. And then, of course, pricing is dependent on the storage room needed. So if you don't need a lot of storage, it's not going to cost you too much to add this security storage option. And if you do need more than that, because you're planning to do lots, then we can talk to you more about that if you'd like. To access the Media Bunker and add your videos and media to it, the first thing you need to do is just go ahead and log in and click on your Edit Survey tab. Go ahead and click on your survey options and select Media Bunker. And from inside here, you can either click on Choose File or drag and drop your files. The supported file types that we have are clearly marked so you can see whether or not you might need to make changes to your file prior to upload. And once you have that set up in here, then you'll be able to add it using the settings to a question and use that as part of any part of your survey. Tip number 9, do you need respondent sample? Then you can buy it through us with QSample. QSample is a division of our company, and they're fully integrated with us. And you'll be able to have access to US and international respondents to accommodate a broad spectrum of research needs. They have access to over 5 million members, who each provide geographic, demographic, sociographic, and psychographic information, accounting for over 400 data points, which is really great. I would recommend to check out their website at qsample.com, and they can help you deliver that data into our system as well. One of the things that I do want to mention here before I continue is that they are specializing in niche panels. So if you're looking for things like college students, or if you're looking for baby boomers or bartenders, something that's very specific, or small business owners, those kinds of things. QSample prides himself in building and sustaining a great panel for these particular niches that are not easy to find. So here we have Andy Dwyer, and we need to help him find baby boomers to test out park benches for lot 48. So in order to get him to get some data for this survey that they want to build, first thing you'll need to do is just log in, and then you go ahead and click on the Send Survey tab. After that, click on Respondent Access, and then Request a New Quote. And then select the survey name. So what you can do here is you can click on a survey that you want to apply your data to or your sample to. And then after that, select your target demographic. So if we have baby boomers, you want to add that in there. Specify the respondent count and add notes here. So some notes that Andy put in there, he said, I need to find baby boomers who like benches. They need to test out the new benches in my park project for lot 48, and they need to rate the level of comfort for the park. After you do that, then submit the request, and you're all set to go. The rep will then contact you and send you the data and work with you on determining the price. So basically, this is a one-stop shop, and I highly recommend using this as well. So step number 10, let's set up some action alerts. This is sort of a reminder for everyone about this tool. I feel that people do have it and they do use it, but some people don't, and it's just nice to bring it to the forefront here. So action alerts enables you to get notified immediately when someone answers a survey question in a particular way. And for example here, we have Ann Perkins, who needs to send a report to the Parks and Recs team every time someone is interested in signing up for the Happy Hands training program. So what we have here is we have her logging in to the Survey Analytics, click on Edit Survey tab, and then go to Email Notification. And once she goes there, she'll need to enable the action alerts and set up the action criteria. And then after she set up her action criteria, which is, are you aware of the Happy Hands program? And they say yes. Then she'll need to go in and configure the action. So what do you want that person to do? So she wants to send it out to everyone in Parks and Recs department. And so that's what she's done. So she's set up the email, the distribution list, set up the subject line is yes, they have happy hands. And then she can also click to add survey responses to each of the action alerts. And once you have that set up, then you can go ahead and save your changes. There is another side to here which just says otherwise do nothing. There's other things you can do there. So if they don't match the criteria, if you still want to be notified, you can also set up an alternative criteria and action as well. Tip number 11, use variable mapping to give your own field names to custom variables that you're using in your survey. So here, you can change your custom variables in your report to actual names. It makes it easy to identify, and it makes it easy to use for custom variable segmentation. So setting up variable mapping, the very first thing you'll need to do is log in and click on the Edit Survey tab and select Variable Mapping. Once you do that, you want to update the values that you want to have displayed instead of the custom variables. So on the left, you see you have custom variable 1, 2, 3. Change that and add, cities, date of birth, type of job. Those are just some examples there. And then to the third side is the code. So you want to update the codes. So to pass multiple words through the email list, to the email list or the survey or etc., you'll need to use a string between the words, and we use just the underscore string. So you can see that date of birth is now date underscore of underscore birth. And once you have saved that, click on Save Quota and go ahead and finish. So inside of your survey, what you can do, instead of doing the custom variable mapping, where you standardly will replace it with custom one, which is the $ plus the parentheses custom one, what you can do is use the newly mapped variable. So this time we can do, $, with the parentheses date of birth. And so you can see that you can change that instead, and it makes more sense versus doing custom 1, 2, 3. And so you can change that, date of birth, type of job, and city. So that is how you would use these tags into the survey. And that would really be helpful when you need to make copies of the survey and that kind of thing, so people know what kind of information is supposed to be flowing from your custom variables that you've uploaded in the system. So for variable mapping, here is a example of variable mapping inside of a survey. So the date of birth you provided is October 7th, 1978. You're working as a designer and you live in Orlando. So that's actually what it would look like to your respondent. So it's the same thing as switching out the custom variables, but this time you're actually using real words. Second one here is variable mappings in the report. So instead of using custom variables below, we're changing those words into what those columns actually are. So that is going to be very helpful, I believe, when people look at some past projects, so they don't have to decide or determine what does all these custom variables mean in our system. So definitely a very helpful tool. It doesn't take too long to update. If you are already using custom variables and mapping them into part of your surveys and part of your reports, then it's recommended that you go ahead and take it another step further and go ahead and actually name those. So our third tip here is to go ahead and schedule reminder emails. It's now possible to schedule your reminder emails to automatically go out when you want to. So that's great news for April Ludgate here, who hates sending out reminder emails to all of Leslie Knope's survey respondents. And she doesn't like people in general, so anything that requires her to do nothing is good. So to schedule a reminder email, the only thing you have to do is go ahead and log in, click on your Send Survey tab, and go ahead and click on the Sent Items and Send Reminder, and then go ahead and update the content of the reminder email, select the date to send, and then click on the survey schedule reminder. So you can see below here I made a funny thing which I says April 31st, 2013 is when she wants to schedule a reminder. But guess what? April 31st doesn't exist. So that's one of April's genius things that she does. She likes to schedule things on dates that don't exist. So now she can do that in the schedule reminder too. I won't recommend it for you guys, but for here, it's something that April likes to do. So let's go ahead and open up this section here to any questions. I have my colleague Gina on the other line, and if she can read, or if Gina, if you can read me any questions that came from the audience, I'd be happy to answer those at this time. Hello? Let's see here. If there are no questions, then feel free to go ahead and add those in there. Also, if you'd like to go ahead and just give me some feedback on some items that you'd like to